Scope Stalingrad. This is a two-player card game about Stalingrad, about the duel of snipers that happened in that epic battle. Each player will control a number of forces represented by cards that will be placed in a grid just like you see. We have the Germans versus the Soviets. And there are different kinds of setup. For example, here's the standard setup, the one that they show you in the rulebook when they teach you the game, and also the one that I played the most because one of my kids and I, Luisa, like this very much. So I play this game with Luisa only. Luisa is the one other than me who really likes games about war. Luisa is right now, so that tells you can definitely play the game with young gamers. Also, there's a basic game and an advanced game, and again, Luisa can handle both, and I think your kids can handle those too. So you're gonna have forces represented by these cards, and you place them face down in a grid. Again, you decide in advance which scenario you're gonna play. That will tell you the composition, meaning how many cards of each type go in there. Each player will have their own field facing the field of the opponent. Some of these cards will show empty space. It's really cool because you're seeing that from the perspective of your sniper scanning that area. This will be this is what you see, so to speak, when it's when you see an empty space. Here, when you see an infantry unit. Machine gun, howitzers, mortar, leaders, scouts, and of course the all-important snipers that you need to hide in there because they are the most valuable asset. They're the ones that in the basic game, they are the only ones that can destroy enemy cards. In the advanced game, you will also have other cards. Basically, in the basic game, you use the ability of the snipers, and then the victory point values of every card. So the numbers that you see here, they always apply. When you destroy this card from the opponent, you score a point. When you destroy this card from the opponent, you score 2 points. When you destroy this card from the opponent, you score 2. Each scenario will have a number of objective points that you will try to score. And basically, you win the game if you kill all of the snipers of the opponent or if you inflict enough damage to match the total number of points. And that's the victory condition. Again, in the basic game, only the snipers have an action, which is to shoot, and everybody else basically is there to be a target. In the advanced game, these other cards also do different things. And the good thing is that you can introduce those gradually. So, for example, after an intro game, I taught to Luisa all effects with the exception of the assault unit, which is a little more complicated. Then a third game that we played, I added that, so we have the full game. And so it's very teachable, even in a scalar manner. Now, the way it works, let's start from the basic game. The idea is that each turn you will take one action, and in the basic game there are only 2 actions: to move your troops or to search. To move your troops is pretty simple. Also remember, you can always look at your cards. To move your troops, you choose a section of 4 cards forming a square, and you can move them around, rearrange them within that section of 4. The rules don't say if you have to show to the opponent where they go, but if you can show them where they go, then it doesn't really make any sense. You want to, so we stipulate that you can take them all, shuffle them so the opponent doesn't know where they go. Otherwise, what's the point of shuffling them so much? The idea is that you will want to move units to hide your snipers. The flow of the game feels pretty right because, as you will see, when you attack the sniper becomes visible, or at least they get a sense of where the sniper might be, and so you may want to move them after that. So one action that you can take is to move, or alternatively you can take the action of searching. So your snipers hiding somewhere in here, they're checking the field of the opponent with their scopes, and what you do with the search action is pretty simple. You choose a card of the opponent and you look at it. As simple as that. Once you look at it, it represents, oh, that's what I see. You can choose to shoot that card or not. Simple as that. If I decide, this target is not worth exposing my sniper, I'll simply put it back there. I probably actually in real actuality will want to probably shoot that one, but maybe it got something else. Maybe it got an empty card. So, okay, that doesn't interest me. So that's it. I put it back there. If I decide not to shoot at a card, or it's an empty card, I cannot shoot it, I put it back there and I should try to remember where it was. If I decide to shoot at a card, then simply enough, I remove it from the game and I put it in my scoring pile. And the opponent fills up that space with an empty space card. However, alas, I shot, and that means that I gave some information to my opponent. So I will need to place the bang card covering a square of 4 cards, at least one of which must be a sniper. In that case, don't tell my opponent, but that's the one. So you know that I'm doing it legally. And that's as simple as that. That's the idea of the basic game. We alternate, taking turns, peeking at each other's board, peeking at each other's area, from time to time shooting, and then trying to move the sniper out of the way until somebody has killed all of the opponent's snipers, or until we have collected 7 victory points. In its simplicity, honest, it's good enough. I don't know how it happened, but I was having a good time. I myself was like, how can I be enjoying this? It just seems so basic and simple. But I really was trying to figure out where Luisa was moving their snipers, where they might be. Yeah, there's a sniper. It may feel a bit sometimes, tug of war. Like, I know there's a sniper there. And then they shuffle the cards, and I try again, and I get a sense of where it may be, and then they move them again. You know what? Then I try somewhere else. Even the basic game, there was enough to be interested. But really, the game gets good when we get to these cards here. For example, if I have a scout in my front line, and I don't have to reveal it, I just need to make sure that I have it. And I do have one right there. Booyah. If I have a scout in the front line, then I can look, but not shoot, at any 2 adjacent cards on the field of the opponent. I can say, okay, I'm going to use my scout action to look at those 2 cards, or those 2 cards. So now one of these is a scout. This is the trait of the entire game revolves around. When you use extra actions, you reveal or give information about the position of some of your things. Oh, I forgot a very important card. The lovely decoy. Your sniper saw sort of like a helmet there, shot, but there was nothing. Meaning, when you reveal a decoy of the opponent, it doesn't kill it because no one to kill, but you have to shoot it. So basically, you have to place the card that reveals where your sniper might be. So that's a very interesting thing. Also, after you shoot it, the decoy stays there. It's very hard to destroy a decoy unless you shoot it with a mortar. That's one of the things that the mortar does. The ability of the leader is you reveal it, so that's dangerous, but then, because they're yelling orders, but then you get an extra move action, so that's pretty cool. The machine gun, you can use it to attack cards in the front line of the opponent without revealing it. You can say, I'm going to attack that card with a machine gun. Now, the machine gun can attack the card right in front of it or the 2 diagonals. So if I say, I'm attacking that card with a machine gun, it's one of these 3. All of these things that are really cool. The assault, that's just what it is. A wave that is pushing against the cards of the opponent. You reveal some of those cards. You may destroy them. You may move there. But if the assault reveals a machine gun of the opponent, oopsie daisy, then the assault card is destroyed. So you start having all of these really interesting interactions there that ultimately, maybe you may think of them as glorified rock, paper, scissors, but I don't, because it really felt like that the troops, the different groups were acting surprisingly thematically for a game that is this simple, this basic. So I gotta tell you, Luisa and I became sort of addicted to this game. We're playing one game after the other, really, really, really enjoying it. It's so easy to get into. If you have a really young player, you can just play with the basic rules, and honestly, that was really fun. But when you add all of these other things, you have this very interesting situation where your main currency is information. And so it gets clearly into this, I think that they're thinking. It becomes really a mind game. It really becomes this chess game with snipers in a crazy situation which feels very, very historical. You have just enough decisions that you feel that it matters to commit certain forces, to risk moving in certain ways. I'm gonna maybe put a scout there next to a machine gun, and so I hope to attract an assault, and then they find the machine gun. I'm gonna put a sniper next to a decoy after I shuffle them, especially because I hope that that will do something. But then they use the mortar to destroy the decoy. Lot of interesting interactions in a rule set which is so simple. The game is incredibly portable. Basically, these cards here is 2 decks of cards you could put in your pocket and you have the game ready to go. The rulebook also is very small. I mean, this box is small, but the actual game is even smaller. So very portable and a lot of replay value, a lot of interesting things. For like a sort of like a lunch break kind of game, this is remarkable because it sets up in no time and it has so many interesting decisions, such fun gameplay. The pace is fast, you're almost engaged because you constantly get either to attack or look at their cards, or you see what they're looking at from your field, so you take, oh my gosh, now they know about that, so what do I do next? You're constantly engaged because the turns of the opponent, in which you have to take into account the information that the opponent has gained, are almost as exciting as yours. So I'm really impressed. I gotta tell you, Scope Stalingrad is a perfect example of how many things you can achieve with such a small set of components, such as minimal rule set. You can recreate a situation that gives you a sense for sniper combat in Stalingrad. That to me is quite remarkable. So truly, high endorsement from me for Scope Stalingrad, a great little game.